It is so good to be back in Rome after all this time. I haven't been here for 2 years because of the pandemic. But now I'm here for an upcoming canonization here on St. Peter's Square by Pope Francis of a number of saints, among which our Titus Brandsma from the Netherlands. Titus Brandsma was a Carmelite priest from the north of our country, Friesland, and among other things he was a journalist. He was protesting against the disinformation by the Nazis, and he was ultimately arrested and died in a concentration camp. I'm going to meet a good friend of mine, Hendro Munsterman, who's also a journalist, lives here in Rome, and he's going to tell me about a very special initiative. This is the Sala Stampa, the heart for the journalists, right?
Yeah, so this is the press center of the Vatican. So here, me and my colleagues, we come every day and we work inside to see what's happening in the Vatican, what the Pope is saying, all the press information that the Vatican gives us. So this is where we meet, this is where we also have press conferences. And these days, for the canonization, and many other colleagues that live abroad come and join us and to work here to follow the canonization.
And one of the people who is going to be canonized is Titus Brandsma. And as a journalist, you have something in common with him, right?
Well, we are very happy to notice that Titus Brandsma in a certain way is the first journalist to be canonized in the history of the Church. So we recognize our duty to search truth in what he did. So he was killed because he was fighting for truth and against populism, against propaganda, against the Nazi propaganda, and for humanity. So, and since we know that every year, last year for example, 55 journalists worldwide lost their lives because of their search for truth, we think that Titus Brandsma has something to say to us journalists now.
This is one of the Carmelite churches near the Vatican, right?
Yeah, so we're only 50 or 100 meters from St. Peter's Square, and this is a church that is in the hands of the Carmelite order. So when Titus Brandsma was studying in Rome, he certainly has been here a lot in this church. And we also see here that Titus Brandsma is not just a Dutch saint. It's really a saint for everybody and for the whole world. Many people don't know this, but for example in the Philippines, every year the Carmelite order gives a prize, a journalistic prize, for journalists that do investigation journalism. And the title of this prize is Titus Brandsma Prize. So really this Titus Brandsma is an international saint for the whole world, and not only for us Dutch.
Can you tell me about the initiative that you've taken with a couple of other journalists?
Yeah, so since Titus Brandsma is a journalist and the first journalist to be canonized, we thought it would be good to ask Pope Francis to proclaim Titus Brandsma the patron saint of journalists. This is an initiative of 4 Dutch and Belgian Catholic journalists, and has been supported now also by more than 60 of our colleagues from all over the world. Because we think that Titus is really a saint that can help us in our devotion, in our journalistic work. Titus had very developed ideas about how journalists should be paid. He had very developed ideas about how journalists should be formed. He even thought about founding a journalism school. And his ideas became a journalism school only several years after his death. So Titus is really a journalist that can help us to think about what our task is. And our only task is to serve the truth, and by serving the truth, serving humanity. And in this, Titus is really an example for us, and we believe that he is accompanying us in his prayerful way wherever he may be now.